Guys, welcome back. It's James, Bare Knuckle Scene UK. We've got a full Bare Truth podcast with Tyrone Eliffe. Tyrone, good to see you again, pal. How's it going?
Good to see you, mate. Yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah, everything's just sinking in, coming back to reality a bit after the weekend. So, yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah.
Absolute quality weekend it was as well. Fantastic event, given the circumstances. To even get it over the line with the hurdles last minute was all credit to everyone involved. So, Ty, what we do, mate, I know we've spoke on video before, but it didn't end up coming out with YouTube Wars prior to the event. So, with the Bare Truth podcast, we basically take it right back to the start, mate. Childhood, growing up, and then obviously to the point that that you are now.
Yeah, I've never been really one to go back into, tell stories. I'd find that quite hard to do myself, but I suppose I can outline a few things. Growing up, you see, I didn't have the best of growing ups, as you could say. I lived with my godmother, granddad, brought up with my godmother, granddad. Didn't really see my dad growing up. Well, I only started seeing him 2 or 3 years ago. So he's been out of my life 25 years now. Grew up with my godmother, granddad, my mum. She was there. Just didn't have the best of relationships. Still don't have the best of relationships now. So things were not normal, but nothing ever is normal, is it? So, there's people out there with things going off that are worse than mine. So I just take everything for granted, me.
Was that difficult then, Ty? Was that difficult with school life, or that time?
School to me, mate. It was a game to me. I found that quite funny. And I was quite a troubled child when it comes towards school. So I wouldn't go, but when I did go, I'd just cause loads of rubbish when I was there, get myself in trouble. Just getting bothered every day, start fights, cause fights. I weren't a very nice person back then. I might come across a bit of a now, but I'm quite humble when it comes to reality. In the fight game, you might love me, you might hate me, but that's just me in the fight game. I'm a different person when it comes to reality.
Yeah, definitely. So you said then, sort of teen years, you were getting into bother. I think a lot of lads, to be fair, going through sort of secondary years and finding, identifying, if you like, as a young man who they are and everything else as well. Did you do any type of boxing training or anything like that through your youth?
Yes, mate. Yeah. Well, my corner man, you can see him in the last video on the fight. That's my uncle, that is. And I think, because I didn't really have a father figure there, my granddad growing up, he was sort of, my grandma was a working one, my granddad would stay at home, man, he'd done the cooking, the cleaning. So the father figure, it was non-existent. So my uncle, we had 2 young lads, just a few years younger than me. So he used to take us all around the boxing gyms, like all the local boxing gyms. So if it wasn't for him, I think he used to say, he used to blow smoke up my arse from a young age. He used to say, "Oh, we're really good." So just having that push from him there, I think that gave me the confidence to believe in myself when I was old enough to go myself. So I think he's done me a massive favour in believing in myself, going into a gym when I was old enough and thinking, you know what, I'm going to try this. Because if I didn't have that there, just that little bit of smoke blowing up me, then I'd have never knew. And I wouldn't have had that confidence to go in there and try it myself. So it realistically, it's all down to him that I am where I am now. And he doesn't realise that. But when I think about it, that's where it all started with my uncle. Got to be going on 7, 8 or 9. That's when we used to go everywhere. We never really stuck to one place. But when we went in there, he'll go to the main coach at the time and go, "This is my nephew. Look how tall he is." He'll just big me up. And at such a young age, to be bigged up by somebody you look up to, an inspiration for you, it's nice, because I've never had a father figure there in life. So going into a gym and then my uncle's going up to the coaches and going, "Look at him, you want to see his right hand?" I might have been absolutely dog crap. And I'll have my 2 cousins there, younger cousins, and they'll go in there, go to the main coach or the big lads in there. "Look at my nephew, look how tall he is. You want to see the right hand on him?" And just having that like smoke blown up me at such a young age, looking up to my uncle as I do, and having that inspiration there, not having the father figure that I did, I think that's what's given me the belief in myself now, and given me the belief in myself when I started going on my own. Because if I never had that there, I don't think my journey would be anywhere now. I don't even think I'd have even started.
And what part of the UK were you, mate, that you sort of grew up, went through school?
Leicestershire, mate. I'm
Okay.
originally from a small town called Colville.
Yeah, know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Tyrone, then let's get to the point. So we're at the point we're leaving school. Did you have any junior bouts, by the way, when you were boxing?
No, mate, no. And you know, I were quite messed up when I say 14. I got on drugs, started smoking weed, started sniffing drugs, hanging around with the wrong people, and my life just became a train wreck at the age of 14. And sports or looking after myself or anything to do with that, it was just non-existent.
Yeah.
You know, I had no respect for myself, no respect for my family, no respect for anybody. So, you know, I was on a downward spiral very, very fast.
And in sports as well, Tyrone, because it's not often you come across people that are 6'8". So, I mean, we're going taller than Peter Crouch here. So, I mean,
Yeah.
were you sort of really multi-skilled when it came to sports, sort of growing up, or were you a late shooter, if you like, in terms of height?
You see, from a young age, I was terrible, mate. I couldn't run. I just didn't know what to do. I was like a dangly spider. I couldn't control my limbs. But then as I got older, I learned how to work with what I got. And I became quite good at most things I put my hand to. You know, I used to play cricket, rugby. You know, so everything I did, I was quite good at. I don't like blowing smoke up my own arse, but I was quite good at it. Was quite good at most things I did.
It's a big advantage, isn't it? It's definitely a big advantage to have that height as well and reach, you know, in a lot of sports, I think, to be fair. Yeah,
definitely, mate. Yeah.
So let's get to sort of late teens. Left school. Did you go down the sort of normal career route? Did you go further education? I'm guessing you didn't go further education with what you've said so far.
Wow. See, I left school at 15 and I started window cleaning. And I've done that for 2 years, a year or two. And the people that I window cleaning with, they're good lads, you know, older boys. But it just gave me some money, and then I didn't have to ask my grandma or granddad or my mum, but I still did because I was still hooked on the drugs, you know. And I mean, life weren't what an average team should have been doing at that age. You know, I was a tall lad. I had a horrible name for myself because I was going out fighting all the time. I was getting served in pubs at the age of 16. I was just a nasty person I was growing up. And you know, when you get such a bad name, everybody still remembers you. I'm 27 now, and they still remember that 16-year-old that used to go around doing what I did back then.
Yeah. So, Ty, when was it then after you got to the point in life, if you like, where you thought, no, do you know what? Enough's enough. I need to sort of start thinking about moving forward in the right way. I mean, usually there's a bit of a realization with some guys if they've had a fight on the streets, and they might end up getting, you know, prosecuted for it. Or has there been anything that sort of swayed in your mind? What took your mind away from the drugs and the alcohol and the street fighting to actually, you know, getting on the right path?
It took me a very long time. And even now, if I'm going through something, I think I've been stuck in such a bad routine my whole teenage life and my whole early adult life. Even now, if I'm going through something that my mind can't handle, I don't know how to handle it myself, and it's like I'd almost relapse as such. So now it's like the boxing. I started the boxing. I think I was 20 or 19 when I started the boxing, and I took to that. I loved it, and that took my mind off everything. You know, there was a fire in my belly. I used to be out running, training every night, 6 nights a week, and it got to a point where there just wasn't enough adrenaline in it for me. You know, well, like the boxing game, it's, you know, there's a lot of picking and choosing. Yeah. I don't want to say too much, you know, because I do respect a lot of people out there. But, you know, it's almost 7 years I've been doing it. And it's like, I've noticed, you know, there's a lot of backhanders, and there's a lot of people that have got things that they shouldn't have. And it's almost like it's even on the unlicensed level, it's corrupt.
Yeah.
You know, and it just takes the fun out of sport, because it's supposed to be a serious sport. You're supposed to, it's supposed to be one of the most dangerous sports in the world. You know, you're supposed to look at it and think, you know, this is a respected sport. But when you do it yourself and you experience it and you see it with your own eyes, you know, it just puts everything into perspective what it actually is, boxing. So you know, I lost the passion with the boxing. So I could have got somewhere. I did speak with my sponsor at the time, and a lad from my promotions. They was on about having a professional contract, earning money, not being able to work. But then, unfortunately, I got with some girl, and you know, it was a downward spiral from there with that.
Yeah.
So that never got anywhere.
Yeah, and so for yourself, Tyrone, was it just boxing that you were involved with in your youth, or did you get into any other type of training, any martial arts?
I did martial arts, mate. I did the Assassins from Leicester. They used to be in the morning youth centre in Colville, right at the bottom of the road that I lived on. I used to love that. I used to go down there with my best mate every night. We got us first. I forgot what they're called, ribbons. When they go around your arms, we used to love it. I think we was only young at the time. We was a couple of weeks away from having his first fight, and I think we both just got in each other's head and just bottled it. But we was there over a year. You know, even at one point, I never the flirt out to do the split. So, you know.
Yeah, fantastic. You can tell from seeing your fight, obviously, where you were close quarters against Wayne, which we'll talk about in a bit, but also then in the ring as well, and how much your size plays a massive part in that as well. So you've gone into your boxing, you've become quite disillusioned then, I'm guessing, with the whole sort of boxing game and how it's ran, and you know, certain people involved, and like you say, there's corruption everywhere, isn't there, to be fair?
Oh, definitely, mate, yeah.
Especially in the places where it shouldn't be. That's where it's most right.
100%, mate, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So then, Tyrone, you've become sort of disillusioned with Gloved. What were you then when did you first start tuning into bare knuckle?
This is a hard one to go into, if I'm honest with you. But even now at my age, I still obviously make mistakes like any normal person, and I make very bad mistakes. And my life can be up here at one point, and then I could do something and it can drop as low as it could possibly get, if not lower. So I split up with the missus, ended up moving out, and I was homeless. This was earlier this year. You know, and my head was
as recent as this year.
Yes, mate. Yeah, and my head was everywhere. And when I get to that low, I find it hard to cope with myself. You know, there's a lot going on up here, and I don't talk to anybody about it. And I find this hard now, just talking to you.
Yeah,
because I'm not one to try and get sympathy from people as such, or beg it. So I just keep it all to myself. But
I think one of the things, Tyrone, is there'll be a lot of people watching this now who 100% will relate to you and relate to that as well. But I mean, all credit to yourself. I literally put a post out on Facebook earlier on my own Facebook saying, like, you know, these guys are some of the hardest bastards up and down the country, but they're still prepared to speak and, you know, about problems. And if that helps somebody, do you know what I mean? It could be another person like yourself who struggles to talk. And so massive respect, mate, anyway, just in terms of being here and sharing what you are sharing with us.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I hit rock bottom. Well, if not lower than rock bottom this year, and became homeless, and and I had to go to the council because I was sofa surfing, and they put me up in a temporary accommodation. And being there on my own with my own thoughts, and not having a job. I love my job. I'm a ground worker now. I have been for the last since I was 18. I drive diggers. You know, I love my job. So being without a job, being homeless, you know, my head got spinning. And when I'm in my own head and I get that low, I make stupid decisions. decisions that affect me as well as the ones that I love. So just being in that headspace at that time, I needed something. I needed something to focus on, to believe in, to get myself out of this space that I was stuck in. Because if I get too low, then I don't know what I'll do, because I don't like turning to people for help. So I had to do something to try and help myself, because I'm a big believer in that. If you're not looking to help yourself, then you'll never be helped.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I know does me good and gets me out of these ruts when I'm in them is fighting. But the boxing, I've lost all the passion for it, and that fire doesn't burn anymore. So that was out the window, you know, because I could have took up a fight just like that, and I could have started training. But when I'm training, I don't believe in myself. So I'd have just got more and more in a deeper hole than I was already in. So I'm friends with James Bryan on Facebook, a big friend of mine, a good lad, love him to pieces. And I seen that he shared a post of Christians that they was looking for a fighter in the Bales. And I was sitting at home, all depressed in bed, didn't know where I was going, didn't know what I was doing, you know. And I thought, if there's something that'll sort you out, lad, talking to myself, this will sort you out. There's no faking this. You know, you can get a journeyman, but the journeyman's going to get hurt. He'll only be a journeyman once. You know, he ain't going to get paid. He ain't going to be given a backhander to go down because he's getting put down. You know, this is a dangerous sport. So I had a word with myself. I said, right, you've got so many weeks to get fit. You know, jogging, boxing, punching. It sorts my head out. It's the only thing that's ever good for me, and it keeps me on track, no matter where I am in life or the position, or with or without a job or homeless. So I messaged Christian and ended up taking this fight. As soon as I took this fight, I felt a fire inside me that ain't been burning for a very long time. And that fire, mate, it's not stopped burning since. And I'm win, lose or draw on my next 100 fights, or how many fights I can go through. I'm keeping this fire burning, because bare knuckle is keeping my mental health. It's keeping it at bay. It's keeping these demons down, and me on that path where I need to be.
Mate, and I can 100% hand on heart say ditto to that as well. I don't fight. I can't fight, mate. If I'm honest, I've got big fucking medical issues going on, and had a bad car accident. But the actual sport, and speaking to people like yourself and other people involved in the sport, to me, helps my mental health no end, mate. And I was really not in a good place this last year myself. So since doing this and speaking to people and sharing stories, it's huge for me as well, you know. So I can completely understand yourself. From the Christian Roberts echoed the same in my last interview with him and Wayne. He'd said the same. He's not fighting, but all the lads around the sport, and the sport helps him massively. You know, I've heard it from so many fighters that their struggles really kick in when they're not training and they don't have a fight to look forward to. And it's the mundane, daily, day-to-day shit, basically, what everyone has to sort of go through, that then people really start struggling. So obviously for yourself, mate, now, if we're coming to sort of the bare knuckle. So you took the fight with Christian and Spartan. Obviously, that was for Fight Fest 4. Was it? Oh, I'm trying to think the date. September 16th, was it? Top of my head, I can't think now. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I'm no good with that. I know it was September. Was it 16th?
I think it was. I think it might have been 16th. But yeah, that event as well. Absolute cracking day it was. You know. So for yourself turning up to your first bare knuckle event, I'm guessing, have you been to any events yourself, bare knuckle, before you took the fight?
No, I find it hard to go to fights and places like that, because if I'm not actively training myself or in camp or fighting myself, I will get depressed and it will set my mental health off. So I stay away from things like that. Yeah.
No respect.
And that's not because I don't want to see the sport, because I watch it daily on YouTube, Facebook. But just being there as a person, that feeling, that vibe and that adrenaline, it just does my head no good if I'm not actively training.
No, fair play, mate. And in terms then, Ty, you rock up. Obviously, you know where the location was. So we're through a couple of fields, and then you see like the marquee, the setup, the bales, everything. Then what's that feeling for you at that point, knowing that you're about to make your debut?
It's like you remember when you were a kid in at Christmas, and you wake up, but you're waking up early and early and early, and you're forever going downstairs, and you're playing up, and your mind's rushing, and you're so happy, but you just can't express it. I felt like that. It wasn't like my first boxing fight, because my first boxing fight, I was shitting myself.
Yeah.
I had a nervous poo and all sorts, but I've learned now I enjoy fighting. I love fighting. It's a passion of mine. Whether I come out injured or what, it's just something I love, and it excites me. Even now talking to you about it, I'm just bubbling up inside. And so going there, mate, I just felt overwhelmed with joy. Just seeing everybody vibing and there for the same reason and enjoying the sport, and knowing that I was involved myself. It was an honour, mate. And every show that I go on from now and until the day that I stop will be an honour.
Yeah. No, fantastic. And I mean, it was a fantastic event as well, and you obviously on your debut, you came up against Wayne Earthman.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel? Obviously, did you know about the sort of height difference, the height advantage you'd got? Or
you see, but early on in my career, my boxing career, I was a big believer in, I never looked at anybody. I just didn't even want to know who I was fighting. And I don't know why that was, because I look at it now and thought, you're playing a fool's game, really. You need to do a bit of research and whatnot. But now I sort of like stalk them out on Facebook. If I've got videos, I'll spend hours and hours watching the videos and studying them and what they do and how they move. But Wayne, all it was, he just had a lot of pictures on Facebook. So I knew he was small and stocky, and I knew he was dangerous in there. A man of that size and that stature and that much muscle, I could have got seriously.
It's made for the pit, isn't it? Really, it's made for the pit. Really,
mate, 100%. Yeah. So, like I said, I could have got seriously injured, and luckily enough, because it is lucky, because I don't mean this offensively to anybody that does the sport in the pits, but there's no skill involved as such. It's all about luck. Obviously you do get some fighters that are better than others, but if, like Wayne, he was a determined man and he was there to fight, he did fight and he threw punches. So in that circumstance, and in that case, it's all about luck. Because all it's going to take is one punch off either one of us, especially a man at his size, and we're down on the floor like a sack of, So it's anybody's game in the pit. And that's why after Wayne, before I even took the fight with Anton, the controversy that's going around that I don't want to fight him in the pit, but I've got no intentions of fighting in the pit, which has already been said weeks before I took the fight of Anton, because it's just no offense to anybody, but it's, in my eyes, it's a fool's man's game, because there's no such thing as skill in there. I could throw my 15-year-old lad in there, my Mrs. lad in there with a semi-pro or a pro, and if he threw some big haymakers, who's to say that he couldn't knock him out? It's an 8x8 pit. You've got no determination. If you was to put bets on at the bookies, it should be 50-50 straight down the middle, because it's anybody's game.
Yeah, I think from seeing it and seeing a lot of these fighters, a lot of have been in there as well in such a small 8x8 area. There's a lot of heart, and it's about exchanging punches, and it's who connects first, and that's it. But obviously for yourself as well, and having all the experience within the boxing ring and boxing, was that always in your mind, like, nah, do you know what, this is my introduction, but I know where my strengths are? But you have to play to your strengths, like you say, you have to play to your strengths. You
see, when it comes to the pit, I basically started my fighting career off in the streets as such. From a very young age, because I was tall and because I was hung around with the popular kids, and where I come from is there's a lot of people that don't just disliked me for some unknown reason. And, you know, I got picked on. I had a little bit of a name for myself. So I started fighting from an early age, and that was always up close and personal. So I knew that I could fight, and I know that I can fight. But it was just that in the pits, I just wanted to get dirty. You know, that way, that's what it is to me. It's a dirty fight. You know, it was just a feeling like no other, and it's only a one in a lifetime feeling for me, because I'm not out to work myself like mega, because you that can end your life in there. And, you know, respect to anybody that gets in there. I do. Take my hat off to them all day long. But you've got to play to your own strengths. There's people that are good in the pit, but when you put those people in the ring, I'm not going to say no names, but there's a hell of a lot of them. You can see the ring craft, they haven't got none. And there are people that own that. Sorry, there are people that have got championship belts in the pit. When you pull them in the ring, they can't move, they can't throw swings, because they're just used to such an enclosed cage as such, the pit, that they've got no ring craft. So it's vice versa. You know, you can switch from a ring to a pit easy, but you can't switch from a pit to a ring.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I agree with that totally. And obviously we've spoken before the last YouTube Wars event, and I know from just that conversation then how comfortable you'd be in the ring. And it was also the fact of me seeing this 6'8" guy exchanging blows in an 8x8, pit of bales basically, and I just thought, wow, he needs what he needs to get, because you could see as well, you could see the way that you were, your stance, and the way you had your guard up, and the way that you could see that you knew what you were doing, like, straight away. I think that was obvious for everyone there. Obviously we have to talk about the showmanship, so that may have rubbed a few people up the wrong way, let's say, because there were a couple of times when Wayne got a count, and you had a lad down on the bales, and yeah, talk me through it, Ty. Talk me through it.
Well, I like showboating, I do, but you see, it's all a game to me, and in the sense, I'll let you in with it now, because I've got where I needed to be. You know, there's one fight, this next fight depends on my future. And I can't say any more than that. But if I win this next fight, there's places where I'll be going that, so that's enough of that one anyway. But the showboating, why it was so dramatic and why it happened like it did, it was all a game, it was all a plan, and it was all set out to do its purpose that it's done. In bare knuckle, you only get so many fights in your life. It's not like boxing. You can't fight 400 fights and be a journeyman for the rest of your life. You can't do that. You're going to get seriously injured at some point.
Yeah.
You might be able to go 30, 40 fights, fair enough. But bare knuckles is a completely different level. So with showboating, I had to put my name on the map as soon as possible. I had to blow up and cause a bigger scene as I could, because I didn't want to mess about. I didn't want to be just looked at like another person. You can win 5 fights and not get where I have in these 2 fights that I've got in. You can smash everybody and you cannot get where I've got in these 2 fights. So my strategy was to go in this game, make as much noise as I possibly could, rattle as many feathers and cages as I could, because I know that I need to make moves quick, because I know what I can do. I know my strengths. I know what I'm capable of. So I didn't want to mess about jumping up and going through levels when it's wasted time for me. I could take a serious injury in one of them, even though I'm going to win the fight, when I could just move on to the biggest and best and make as much noise as I possibly can to move quicker at 3 times the speed than a normal person would.
So Tyrone, then, obviously on the back of Fight Fest 4, did that then cement into your mind, yes, bare knuckle is for me, this is the way that I want to go, and sort of turn you back on gloved once and for all?
My back was turned on gloved, and that was that for me. You know, it's the passion's gone, the fire's not there, and if the fire's not there, I've done it once before where I've not committed to training in a fight, and I've gone in and I've ruined myself. I've had my ribs broken, I've lost. You know, so if the fire's not there and the passion ain't there, you're not training, you're a fool. You know, so you can't do it. But the bare knuckle, I knew when I heard about it, when I seen it, I just knew it was for me. I knew it. I've been thinking it for a long time. It's just that I've never really been in a place mentally where I thought, you know, I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
But where I was at the time when I thought I'm going to go for it, it's done me a hell of a lot of favours. My life's turned around, and in so many good ways. Just from this, not many people would understand, but a lot of people would. It's done me a hell of a lot of favours.
I can understand, mate, because like I said, I've spoken to enough people now as well involved in the sport to know how much of a blessing at times it is, and that's with the training, the fighting, and just having that, you know, that's the medicine at the end of the day for a lot of these people. You know, that is the medicine. So after Fight Fest 4 then, Tyrone, how long before you obviously wanted to get straight into the ring on YouTube Wars? Did that come after, or was that already arranged?
Well, when I seen Simon at the Fight Fest 4, I said to him there, and then I said, like, I want to get on YouTube Wars, mate. And he said, we'll speak after this one. You know, obviously, I'm a new blood on the CE. You know, we don't know what to expect and whatnot. So I think it was 2 weeks later, I seen another shot on there, and they were looking for a fighter in my weight class. Well, I can switch between light, heavy, and cruiserweight, you know, because I'm on the borderline. I'm about 15.2, but I can drop to about 14.11, something like that.
Yeah.
So I seen a cruiserweight going, and I think I was 14.11 or 14.12 at the time, and I thought, you know, I'll take this YouTube Wars. And when I took it, the opponent that I had, I started causing a load of trouble in the chats like I normally do. You know, I like to get the party started when I get in there, see what's what, you know. As soon as I entered the chat, the first day, I had about 7 lads wanting to kick me head in. And the lad that I was fighting, he blocked everybody on the group chat, and he didn't want to fight no more. So that was my opponent out the window.
Yeah, so that will have been your first matchup then. I can remember because I wasn't there at that point within that group chat. I was towards sort of mid to end, but yeah, I can remember a post going out to find you somebody to fight. I know it was put you at one point for a rematch with Wayne in the ring, but like you said, no disrespect to him, but I've already fought him, and you know you know where you want to be going. And also, it needs saying, because I was within the group chat at this point, that before you were matched with Andrew Anthony, you did say that you wanted the best. I want to fight the best. That's what I'm here for. Give me the best. And all credit, you know, that was said long before that actual fight was cemented, wasn't it? So then Andrew Anthony, obviously, absolute pit legend, the guy, you know, in terms of what he's done at Spartan, and you know, I've got a massive amount of respect to Andrew Anthony and what he's done at Spartan. Like you say, it's a different breed of person as well that gets in that pit, and
100%.
His record prior to YouTube Wars Chapter 2, I think he was 7-1. So obviously that played into you as then instantly being a massive underdog, despite the win at Fight Fest 4 as well.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? What's that like, Tyrone, in terms of like when you're playing the underdog, or, you know?
Well, you say the underdog, and obviously to everybody that doesn't know, and you know, me as a person, or you as a person, you only know what you're capable of. And when you're looking at somebody else, you know what you can do, or you know if you're better. You don't. When you're thinking in your head and you're talking to yourself, you don't blow smoke up your own arse. You're true to yourself. It's only when you're talking to other people that you tend to do that. Not that I do myself, maybe a few times, but not always. You know, I'm my biggest own fan at the end of the day. I've got to be. But as you say, underdog, yeah, I loved it, because not once, I had a completely different demeanor going into this fight. Completely. You know, I kind of worried myself how much I didn't even have a little bit of nerve. Not the tiniest bit, because I'm a strong believer in you've got to have a little bit of worry. You know, you've got to keep it sharp. You've got to always think you're going to win. You never underestimate yourself. You never doubt yourself. But you've always got to worry, because there's always a chance there that you can get beat. Always. No matter who you are, whether you're the best in the world or what. But I was so worried. I was worrying myself that I wasn't worried in the slightest about this fight. And that's not me just saying that now. I'd have said that if I didn't lose anyway, if I lost anyway. But I went into this fight with a completely different attitude than I've ever been into any other fight in my life. I was saying to the missus that week, because normally I'm revving up, and you know, doing her head in. I'm dancing around the house, and you know, we're arguing because I just don't shut up, or I'm just in a different mood completely because my head's gone. But there was none of that. I was just sitting there watching TV, and I was just boring. You know, I'd done my training and whatnot, but there were none of this like jumping around, bouncing, doing flips off the sofa, and you know, waking up at 1 o'clock in the middle of the night because I've had a dream about knocking someone out. There weren't none of that. But I did, and this is the first time I did. I watched the fight a million times like I normally do with everybody that I can. But I had a vision on this fight that about, I don't know how many visions I had, but thousands of them. Every time I thought about the fight, there was only one winner. And there always is, but this was set in stone in my head. You know, I never doubted myself once. I knew what was going to happen. When he jumped over them barrels, when he first, don't know why he did it. I don't, like you say, he's good at.
I was going to mention that. Yeah. Just I was going to mention that, Tyrone. What I'll have done just prior to this is shown a quick video of your first fight against Wayne.
Yeah.
Obviously, after that point, like I say, something was said. I don't know if it was yourself with the showboating or something. And obviously, Andrew Anthony did jump into the bales with you, and there was a bit of a face-off. Did that affect this matchup with YouTube Wars then? In terms of, did Andrew want it? Did you want it? Did you both want it?
You see, I was cruiserweight, and for some reason, he's good at what he does in the pits. And there's a lot of things, we could go on for hours, how much, you know, but he's not on my league in the ring. And that's what I'll tell everybody that, you know, stay in the pits, mate. You know, I'm not going to fight you in the pits. I'm not scared of you. I never will be. But I'm not going in the pits because it's anyone's game. You're good in there, stay in there. You won't come up in the ring against me again. But I'll come out of the pit that day, and I got on my high horse like I normally do. And I called out everybody in my division, which is cruiserweight. And that guy's known for holding heavyweights, super heavyweights, cruiserweights. I'm not being funny, but I've seen him on another podcast saying he's a professional sportsman where he can reach any weight that's put to him. But yet, he doesn't do that because he's not professional at what he does. So anyway, he's got the heavyweight pit, the pit, Spartan pit belt. And I've called out the cruiserweights, and he's decided to jump in even though I'm not even aiming anything towards him. So all I can say is more for him. You know, I never asked for him. I just wanted the one that was in cruiserweights at the time. But
did Andrew come down in weight then, Tyrone?
We did supposedly, yeah. But he was fighting at Bad to the Bone on the 11th, but he can't no more because for some reason he's sustained too much injury. Don't know why that is, but yeah. He can't. He was fighting at super heavyweight at Bad to the Bone, so yeah, it was supposed to be like I don't know. You see, a bit more politics in it than I like to go into there. So I could speak to I'll just go on too much if I get into that.
Yeah, don't worry. No, I try and keep everything as neutral as I can, especially between platforms, because I don't want to So in terms of it then, Tyrone, it's fight day number 2. You're rocking up. YouTube Wars. Obviously, it was a last minute. I mean, like I say, massive credit. Simon Kirk, Bobby, Kev, you know, Christian, everybody who managed to get it over the line and make it the event that it was as well. All the fighters included. You rock up there. What was it? Was it a different atmosphere? Was it a different vibe because you'd already sort of fought prior to it?
No, like I say, my head was in a different space altogether. So, you know, and having my uncle for the first time properly as a corner man, and my granddad, obviously his dad, my granddad's passed away. So having my uncle there, it just felt like a bit more. My granddad was there as well. You know, we both wore flat caps, my granddad's favourite hat. You know, so it just felt a bit special that they did. And I was in a different mind frame altogether anyway. And I just felt so calm and relaxed. Nothing could have ever got in my zone that day. You know, until I got in that ring, you could have done anything and you'd have never got underneath your skin. I knew what I was there to do. I was there for one objective. And I knew it was going to happen. I told everybody it was going to happen. Nobody believed me. And, you know, it happened.
Guys, what I'm going to do now is let you watch the YouTube Wars Chapter 2, which was last Saturday, basically, at Bradford. Get ready for this, people, because this one's going to be an absolute banger.
What a tune to come out to. I love a walkout song, mate. It's all about the walkout as well. Go on then, Ben.
Tyrone coming out now.
This is what it's all about. What an headliner this is going to be.
Oh,
and listen, guys, pay-per-view. You couldn't get better than a pro like Ben.
Go on then, Rounders.
Ben's going to talk us through the fight. So
I'm going to try. With this fight, it's going to be difficult because I'm a match like this. I'm like a fight fan right now watching.
These heavier fighters don't tend to go the distance, do they?
What you will see as well with this Tyrone is, again, the heart on the kid. Huge heart. You know, he ain't gonna give up unless he's knocked out or it's stopped. You know,
what he's like?
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Can you see Andrew Anthony there? He's a proper unit, Anthony. Andrew Anthony.
Very muscular guy, very active in the gym, very active in the bare knuckle scene.
So you've got the height and you've got the broad. Wow.
Top block as well. Top block.
Oh, there we go. Again, the confidence you can see. You can see from Tyrone the confidence.
Yeah.
Look at the focus in his face. He's speaking now to his cornerman. Like, he's not here to play. Like, he's not here for a paycheck. He's not here. He's here to fucking win. You can see it as well.
You've got to respect boxers that want to fight the best fight as well, and he wanted it. He wanted Andrew Anthony, you know. So.
Oh, that says a lot. I didn't know that. That says a lot.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Andrew Anthony.
Both fighters now eyeing each other up.
Reception, I reckon, now coming in.
So we've got Tyrone in the blue and white shorts. Andrew Anthony's here.
Look. In his Spartan shorts, I reckon. The black and gold.
They're looking at each other already.
This guy's right.
I can feel the atmosphere. I can feel the energy already. They're looking at each other as Andrew comes in. People are holding his belt.
Don't miss this, guys. Don't miss this, guys.
This is what it's all about now, people. This is going to be an absolute cracker.
Oh, I'm so excited for this fight. What a pleasure to be here. I'll tell you what, Tyrone, look, he won't take his eyes off Andrew. No. He will not take his eyes off him. Look.
Is that what it's about, psyching out?
Oh, 100%. This is 70% of the game. My opinion is definitely mentality. Oh, look, they both look at each other as they go to the corner. They are both here. They are here to hurt each other. We are in for a treat.
Right.
Both fighters square off.
Take it over, Ben.
Okay, here we go. Both fighters now square off. They're in the middle of the ring. They both look like they're here to do some fucking damage. And there we go. We're off. They both fill each other out. There you go. Tyrone with the jab. Oh, Andrew again with the pressure. Tyrone going. That's it. They both clinch. Tyrone getting their triumph for the clinch. Finish each other. Oh! Tyrone just took a big right hand. Andrew takes it. Listen, he covers up as well. He's covering up well. Hands are down. He's slipping the jab well. He just slipped up right. Very clued up with the ring. Oh, he's dipping and weaving, just like it's clipped. I'll tell you what, Tyrone's got a face of evil in his face. He does not care. Both respecting each other with the filler again. Andrew keeping his hands down. He's getting clipped there. He's getting clipped. Oh, Tyrone's going mad. He wants it. He's calling him on. Oh, what's happened here?
Oh, he's been hurt.
He's caught.
Andrew's been hurt. Tyrone's celebrating. No, it's over.
What's going on?
Tyrone is celebrating. He is now the underdog. I believe he was. And he's now celebrating. The gum shield goes out.
What's happening, Ben? What's happening?
The win is over now. I think Tyrone has literally completely shocked people.
He wanted this, people. He said it. He wanted the best fight.
He's saying a speech.
I'm moving up heavyweight. I'm moving down. So you like heavyweights. Crosses in that division. That's right now. I'm coming for you, rankers.
Oh, Tyrone! He's not here to play games. He is not here to mess about. But look, I love the sportsmanship there.
He was ambitious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what absolute lovely sportsmanship right there from Tyrone.
We've seen that all day, and it's been
Well,
great
it's
to
about
be-
Ben in there. As soon as the fight's over, the respect can be shown, you know.
Whoa!
Oh, it's kicking off with Gary Slater now. Oh, we got all right
Could
now.
go
Here
up
we
here.
go. Gary Slater and Tyrone. I think Gary Slater has had to enter the ring.
So who was that
And
trying to get in ring?
Gary Slater has gone to.
Guys, as you can see there, it all got very excitable at the end. Obviously, as we spoke about earlier, the adrenaline will have been pumping. And Tyrone, talk us through that, mate. Obviously, post-fight, getting the microphone and giving your announcement.
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, I was the, like you say, I was the underdog. But you know, you join these group chats with these fights when you before these fights, and I don't mind being the underdog. I'm not bothered about that. But it's when everybody's telling you you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get knocked out. You know, all right, leave your opinions to yourself because I don't want to hear it. I ain't bothered about it. Don't tell me. So to all of them people that told me I was gonna lose, even though I know I wasn't, I just basically wanted to give them that and tell them where they can go. That was my intention. So, and you know, it might have got a bit escalated and whatnot, but I just wanted to send a clear message out. Like, I told you, I was doing what I said I was going to do. You should have left your opinions in the comment section, not in my inbox or, you know, I didn't ask for them nasty opinions that they was throwing at me or, you know, the predictions that they was just saying I'm going to get knocked out or you're going to be put down a peg or two. Unless you're a fighter, unless you want to get in the ring with me, leave your smarky comments at home because they're not valid to me. So I'll just keep proving you all wrong with every step I take. And that basically on the mic was a message to all them people that they can go and get, yeah, big time.
I know you said as well that you were going to drop down in weight and drop down to light heavyweight.
Yeah.
So obviously, do you see that, Tyrone, as your sort of ideal then at the minute? Or do you think that gives you the perfect platform to then be able to look to dominate, if you like, at that weight and then move up?
To be honest, mate, I could switch between both of them within a couple of weeks. You know, so I could, you know, well, I don't want to get too involved in my future as such. I can talk about it a bit. But where I'm going after this fight, you know, when I win this fight, is it's different league, different level. So instead of me dominating two, because it's a completely different level, instead of me dominating two divisions like I would at Spartan, because I could with ease, it's you know, I might just stick to the light heavies, you know. So I might just dominate that category, and then when I've dominated that, because at YouTube Wars I could have just had one fight at light heavyweight and had another fight at cruiserweight, had the other one at light heavy, and I would have happily done that. Just kept on doing that. But where I'm going, where my future's taking me, I have to stick with what I do until I get where I need to be, and then we'll think about where we're going from there.
You've obviously got your own sort of end game, if you like, in sight in terms of where you want to be and where you see yourself going down the line. You've got age on your side, like you say, 27 years old, quite unique in your own way because of your height, and obviously with the height comes the reach as well. So that gives you a good advantage, you know, that you can play to your strengths with the ring work as well. Obviously, it's not going to take a genius to sort of work out where you want to be heading. So following YouTube Wars, obviously, the dust has settled, you know, there were words exchanged and different bits and pieces, but I know for yourself as well, for anybody that didn't see, Tyrone actually apologised for what went on at YouTube Wars. He made a public apology, and I know that was appreciated by a lot of people within the bare knuckle community. There is a lot of families and children at these events, and I know Spartan all the time. Spartan's been running. They've never had any sort of altercations in terms of crowd violence or anything along those lines. But massive respect to you, Tyrone, for doing that as well, mate. Because, like you say, I do appreciate as well that the adrenaline will have been pumping. You're hyped up. It's a special occasion. You know, you've proved to people what to set out what you said you'd do, and you've done it. So I do appreciate that. And I said to Christian and Wayne a couple of nights ago, the thing with sports people as well is there's sometimes where if you take too much away from somebody's character, you lose that from who they are in the sport that they perform in. So massive respect to you, but also, you know, it's one of them. It's swept under the carpet. I think it is what it is. It is what it is. And like you say, you know, onwards and upwards. So
yeah.
November the 11th, Tyrone, talk to me about this, mate. When did this come about? When, you know?
Well, I was sitting in bed just because I've got Babby on the way very soon. Very soon.
Congratulations on that one, brother. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. It could be now, it could be within, well, due date's on the 8th of November. So any time from now until then. So I was sitting at home in bed, just getting ready to quiet down over Christmas, keep the training going because that's what keeps me sane. And just lying there, and I just had a message out of the blue. So speaking to Simon, just messaged me out of the blue. And he said like, Stefan from Bad to the Bones asked if you might be interested in fighting for a British title. Mate, I think it was early. I'll go to bed quite early. I might be young, but I'm old as art. So I jumped up out of bed, mate, and pacing around my room like I do. And, you know, the fire started again. So I couldn't put that fire out, so I took the fight. I see. The missus ain't too happy because it's so close after the baby's there. But I said to her, you know, it's a British title.
It could be huge for you as well, mate. Like you say, you know where you want to be. Mate. You know. So what about this guy that you're fighting then, Tyrone? Like, I know you said that you sort of don't do too much digging, but I know I've not seen this guy fight in person before. But I have been told that this guy is legit. He's the real deal. Like,
yeah. You see, I've do a lot of research now. So I didn't used to do a lot of research. I do a lot of research now because bare knuckle's completely different game, isn't it? So I've studied him quite a lot, and obviously this is going on Facebook, so I don't want to take my cards away from my chest a bit too much, but I can see a lot of flaws that are going to come up on are going to benefit me, and I see my flaws that could benefit him as well. So I know where I'm going wrong that have an advantage to him. You know, are quite hard to change for me because I'm so used to fighting the way that I do. So there is some things that I need to be wary of because he's quite good at doing what he does with them things. You know, but just tie him up when he gets in. He's a tall lad. He's over 6 foot, but he seems to like to fight on the inside. And he can fight on the inside all he wants. I'll just tie him up, let him go, jab him off, work him down. I've got a game plan. I'm not going to go into it too much.
No, mate.
But you know, it's my game plan, and it's only going to be one outcome in the end, and that's me on top victorious.
And the British title as well. So is this one the light heavyweight, Tyrone, or is this cruiserweight?
This is light heavyweight. I spoke to Stefan, and he has two classes in the light heavyweight. I'm in I'm from the 87 to 90 kg class. So I've had to drop, I think 5 or 6 kg in 3 weeks, which I've done quite easily. Like, you know, I think I've got about 2 kilos left to drop, and I've got 2 weeks left. You know,
how does it?
Pardon?
Sorry, mate. Finish. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so it's nothing that I can't do, and you know, and to be a professional at what you do in the places that I want to go, meeting weight is just a must. It's part of the job.
And how is your training then, Tyrone, like affected? Because obviously you're coming into your third fight in a relatively quite a short space of time, so it's not like
9 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. How does that affect your actual training and what you're doing on the day to day? Does it keep? Do you feel that it's better to fight more regularly because you're maintaining that peak level without having to drop off, or do you need that break?
To be honest, I've never really thought about that break. You know, I train how I train, and I train a lot. I can't really go into my training too much. But how I do train, it ain't like any other. You know, I'm not saying it's harder than anybody. It might be easier with some people, but I don't mean this on a physical level. It's not like nobody, but it's just like it's just different to what a lot of people do. You know, I don't train like a lot of people. So what I do, it's different, and I don't want to explain that because it just opens things up to people, and they don't need to know it. But nothing will affect.
Sorry. Is your training then, Tyrone? Are you sort of doing your training one-to-one with your uncle rather than a sort of normal gym session training, if you like?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
I know we've seen some people. I know Danny Christie did his little mini documentary earlier, and he showed some of the stuff that he does training wise, you know, outside, and there's lots of different things that work for different people, isn't there? You know, absolutely. But no, yeah, don't share nothing, mate. Don't share it. Keep whatever cards you need, mate, in your pocket, 100%. Massive opportunity, and as well, obviously, this event that's coming up, which is in Stoke, November the 11th. It's Bad to the Bone, the Rise of the Foot Soldier. If anybody wants to be there at that event, go down. The fight card's fantastic. Get in touch with Tyrone. I'll put in Tyrone's social media link in the description. So if you want tickets, always go through the fighters, guys, because you know that is one of the biggest earners for the fighters. Is actually being able to sell ticket by their own name rather than just going to the fight company directly. So I'd always recommend everyone to buy the ticket through the fighter they're there to support and there to see. So yeah, get on that, people. It's going to be a fantastic card. I think Carlton Leach is there as well, Tyrone. I think he's sort of honorary guest with it being Rise of the Foot Soldier. So there's bound to be a few interesting people there on the 11th as well. Is there any other fights on the card that you're looking forward to yourself?
To be honest, mate, I try not to watch. I try not to get involved with other people, like their journey too much, because it just sort of takes it away from me. Because it might sound selfish and big-headed, but there might be something wrong with me. I don't know. But in my own head, I've got to. When it comes towards boxing and training, I'm the centre of my own attention. You know, nobody else is relevant to me. So when I watch things, I watch it, but I don't remember the names because I don't want to. I don't study the person only unless I'm fighting them. So when it comes to fighting, I only worry about and watch and really focus on myself, which might sound like pig-headed and stupid, but that's my coping mechanism, that is.
Yeah, everyone, mate, it's whatever works for you. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's different. It's whatever. I mean, first and foremost, obviously, I'm just a big fan of the sport myself. So
yeah, definitely.
I do love watching as much as I can. For yourself, mate, like you say, your medicine is your training and your fighting and getting in there and doing it. And the journey that you've had, even from less than 12 months ago. From finding yourself in the position you were to then getting yourself back on track, now going from living on the streets to then getting back into the fighting and taking it seriously and wanting to sort of, see a future within bare knuckle. You've got a newborn on the way. It's like, what a fucking turnaround, mate, in less than 12 months. So all credit to you, brother. And honest to God, like whatever's works for you in life, whether that's what it works for you between fight by fight, or whether that's what gets you between Monday and Friday, or whatever it is, keep doing what you're doing, mate, because, you know, credit to you where you are now. And I think that alone is going to send a big message out to a lot of people who struggle themselves with mental health. And, you know, so, mate, yeah, no, all credit to you. The big one then, Tyrone, the big one is, without going into too much detail about what could be happening in the near future, let's say fast forward 2-3 years down the line. So you're still young, 30, 31, still fighting bare knuckle. Where do you want to see yourself, and how much more room for growth do you think that you've got there as well, if needed?
Well, I'm a big believer, mate. You've got to lose to learn. So there will be a loss on the record in 3 years. You know, it just happens to every fucker. If there isn't, I'll be shocked myself. But, you know, I will be a professional. And when I say professional, I mean box rec, you know, professional athlete. And that'll be coming a lot sooner than 3 years. So it's my future's all riding on this fight now. I wanted to move quick, and I've got what I wanted. Now I've got to make sure I take it and grasp it with both hands. But you know, I had a message from I can say this one because he messaged me and I didn't reach out to them, so it's kind of, you know, it's out there already. The UK BKFC branch owner messaged me 2 days ago, and he said to me, they have a is it a New Bloods League? He wants to get me involved.
I think it's the Prospect. Is it the Prospect Series?
Prospects, that's the one. Yeah, he wants to get me involved in that in next year. You know, so there's still some alleys to be explored yet, but my heart's set and I know where I want to go.
And how about then, Tyrone? So obviously we've got November the 11th coming up, newborn baby on the way. Are you going to get that fight out the way and then say, do you know what? Let's enjoy the festivities, or are you going to go fucking bring it on? I want another one.
Well, like I said, this fight is riding on everything, isn't it? So, without saying too much, I'll still have to be in training camp after I win this fight, because January is going to be. These fights are nothing like, you know, you go fishing, you pull out a bloody bream. You want that carp, didn't you? But January after I win this fight is a fucking shark. So January is my next fight. Yeah.
Happy days, mate. Well, I know probably your missus will be very happy to know that after November the 11th, do you know what I mean? She's got you on board, and obviously you said newborn on the way. Do you know what? Do you know if it's boy or a girl? Are you waiting?
Baby boy, mate.
Oh, congratulations, man!
Thank
and have you got other children? You said as well, Tyrone.
Yeah, I've got a 9-year-old lad. Yeah,
brilliant. And do you think he's going to follow in your footsteps? Are you sort of trying to?
So I wouldn't push fighting upon anybody, especially my own kids. You know, I only do it because I suffer with mental health, and if I didn't, I wouldn't. You know, he's a smart and intelligent lad, so that means he won't be fighting, because only us ones that have got a loaf too short of a full, you know, only ones with a boltless screw loose do the fighting, don't they? So my lad's a very smart and intelligent 9-year-old, and I'm hoping to God that he stays away from it.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine as well, and I've got a little boy myself now, and you know, I just want the best for him, you know, and whatever he wants to do and who he grows up to, you know, I'll always be there to try and help him and guide him and give him advice and that. But obviously they're their own people at the end of the day, aren't they? And so no, that's fantastic. And then so Christmas coming, any plans over the holidays, or just enjoy family life and
just enjoy it, mate? Hopefully don't suffer no injuries in this fight, you know, and just enjoy it, mate. Put the feet up. Obviously, keep training because I've always got to be switched on. And yeah, just enjoy it. Try and scoff some food, you know. Just enjoy the food because I've not been able to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. One thing that I will say, Tyrone, before we wrap up, mate, one thing that I will say is, again, big thank you for joining me for this podcast tonight, mate. Massive thanks. And also for sharing your story and talking about things which, like you've said yourself, you don't open up about and you don't really speak about. But like Andy's Man Club says, it's okay to talk. And the more men that are talking about these problems, you know, hopefully this podcast might have helped a handful of people, mate. And
it would be nice if that was the case, mate. Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on here, mate. I really do.
No, mate, it's an absolute pleasure. Obviously, I've seen both your fights. I've been there for both your fights. I'm going to be there for November the 11th. You know, it's just the way that these things happen sometimes. But a massive, massive respect to you, pal.
Yeah.
I did say before the fight last week, I commentated your fight. I don't know if you've watched it back.
I did, mate. Oh, it's wicked.
Yeah, I did say, you know, what I can say is ambitious. He's, you know,
yeah.
and yeah, you're no joke. And fair play to you, mate. You said what you were going to do. You've gone in there and you've done it. And now you're moving on. You've got a British title shot, bad to the bone. Guys, in the description, get your tickets. Hit up Tyrone directly for your tickets. And he'll tell you what you need to do, I'm sure. Mate, thank you. And a lot of love. And I'll see you on November the 11th.
Thank you, James. I'll see you, mate. Nice one, buddy.
Cheers, bro.